Here you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul show. Foul show. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Guys, Real Sport, Bar TV.
Oh, it's a blustery day here in Newcastle. I wonder which way this will go. Oh, it's a blustery afternoon here at Harker Oval, as you can hear in the background. Howling winds, so it'll be interesting to see how the first 40 minutes of football goes. We predict the winds to die down later this afternoon, but at the moment they are blowing a gale. Good afternoon, as I said, Peter Jolly with you. This afternoon the Newcastle Rugby League enters week 2 of the Newcastle Rugby League semi-final series, and it's do or die here this afternoon for Western Suburbs and Lakes United. Western Suburbs, of course, they've been decimated with injuries in the last 24 hours. No Ryan Lamb, no Willis Alatini, and last night their captain, Mark Tafua, has also pulled out due to a shoulder injury. Meanwhile, for Lakes United, there is no James Varka, so that means a little bit of reshuffling in the back line for Lakes United. But the sun's out. It's a pretty damp pitch, but this wind no doubt will, soak up that moisture come kick-off time. Earlier today, we went behind the scenes here at Western Suburbs and we caught up with the volunteers who make game day, especially in the final series, all the worthwhile.
Part of the committee from the West Schoolboys Rugby League, and it's only a small group for the large number of kids that we've got. It's Sonia, why do you do what you do?
For the kids, because there's plenty of kids who come and play sport, and if the canteen's not here and we don't make funds, they don't get to play.
Very true. We have about 520 odd players, which is the biggest club in the area. We run our senior canteen here on a Sunday for the seniors games to raise a bit of extra money. How long have you been involved in the club, Sonia?
On and off for probably about 15 years now. I've got an older stepson who played for West as a junior, and my youngest is in the 10s.
Yeah, without volunteers, where would we be in the Newcastle Rugby League? Where would we be in rugby league in general? So we're counting down the kick-off here. The wind, well, it's still roaring across the field here at Harker Oval, but we thought we'd catch up with the coaches and the players ahead of today's do-or-die clash. Mate, the ground's not in bad nick compared to the rain we've had.
Yeah, mate, it's actually held it pretty well. It usually a bit, wet with the pitch and that here, but it's not looking too bad, mate. I think this wind might have dried it out a little bit, to be honest.
Mate, you love kicking the ball around. Well, you'll have the wind to kick it into or against today.
Yeah, I think it might play a big part today. I think the wind, so we'll have to keep that in mind for sure. Yeah.
Hey, Josh, mate, do or die today. How's training been this week?
The training's been good this week, mate. We've talked a lot this week about our previous games and how much this game means to us. Like, it's do or die today. So if we don't turn up, we're out this week. So.
Western Suburbs, of course, a few big losses. No Tafua, no Lamb, no Alatini, so you might be here on a good day.
Oh, I guess we'll have to wait and see what they run out with.
Said anyway.
That's what the paper's saying, but I think they might change it when it comes time to run out.
Sceptical.
Yeah.
All right, then get in there. Well, the wind, it's still roaring here at Harker Oval. But what a season it has been for the Newcastle Rugby League. And two of these teams today, Western Suburbs and Lakes United, haven't they entertained us along the way? Let's check out their season highlights of 2016. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to Saturday afternoon finals football for the Tooheys Cup here in the Newcastle Rugby League. We're just in the last few minutes of the reserve grade clash between Souths and Macquarie, but we're counting down to first grade in a few minutes' time. There's been a number of changes for Western Suburbs. We'll go through them shortly, but as you can see there, a big crowd coming in here. They're driving in their cars in the hundreds, and the winner will go through, of course, to play the loser of tomorrow's clash between Macquarie and Lakes, whilst today's loser will bow out of the Newcastle Rugby League competition for 2016. A very blowy afternoon here at Harker Oval, but the sun's out and the ground is looking quite good, considering that we had a lot of rain here in Newcastle in the last 24 hours. We'll get a few more conditions as we go down to the touchline shortly to Tom Taylor as well. But up here in the commentary box, Morgan Campbell, what an afternoon for Newcastle Tooheys Cup Rugby League. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Peter. Lovely afternoon it is too. You're absolutely right. And a big game in prospect. I think at the start of the season you would have got very long odds on these teams meeting in the second round of the semis. Certainly on the Saturday, a lot of people would have expected them to meet on the Sunday. But today, winner goes through, loser leaves the country. It's a big occasion. West, of course, they started the season so well with 5 in a row. They started to tail away when the rep season came around and then lifted again at the end of the season. But they would have been fairly disappointed, I think, with how they went on in that second half last week. As for Lakes, well, they've got their star man back. They've got Adams back in the team. I think they're the favourites today. I think they're just starting to wind up at the right time.
OK, Morgan, thanks very much for that. Well, we've got Tom Taylor down on the touchline this afternoon. Tom, as we go down to you, we're looking across towards the northern end where the fig trees are. It is blowing a gale. What's it like down on the touchline?
How you going, Pete? Yeah, you won't be able to see it from where you are, but it is blowing a gale. That wind is just horrifying for the fullbacks today. But other than that, it's a nice sunny day. The ground is in really good nick, nice and spongy, except for that dreaded cricket pitch, of course. That's going to be a bit hard for the players, but other than that, you wouldn't be able to tell that we've had 3 games played on this ground already.
Mate, there's a few changes for Western Suburbs leading in today's match. Have you been able to find out anything down on the sideline, minutes out from kick-off? Any late changes?
Yeah, mate, we've got a couple from West. We've got both Stingers are out. Ryan Lamb has been replaced by Tim Holman. Tim's stepping up from reserve grade last week, so that's a pretty good replacement there. And Willis Alatini's been replaced by Jermaine Ale. Mark Tafua is also unfortunately out, and he's been replaced by Jacob Ling. And for Lakes, their late change is James Craig is out of the starting lineup for James Varker.
OK, Tom, we'll come down to you throughout the match thanks to Benedict Waste Recycling. But let's go through the Lakes United side as they'll take to the field today in week 2 of the Tooheys Cup for Newcastle Rugby League. At fullback we have Jamie Goulmere. On the wings is Marcel Ikanofo and James Varker. In the centres positions is Josh Charles and Matt Craig. Jay Sullivan in 6 along with Brad Murray. The number 8 is Kirtley Hoggets. The 9 in his second year at the club is Chris Adams. The 10 is Casey Burgess. Harton in 11, Randall in 12, and locking the scrum for the Seagulls is James D. Sachs. The interchange bench for the Seagulls, Jack Kelly, Chance Burgess, Sean Boss, and Ben Sams. And of course they're coached by Dean Noonan. Throughout the week, James Craig, he was listed in the Newcastle Tooheys Cup program. There was a bit of doubt, bit of an injury doubt against the name of James Varker, but he's passed a fitness test and he'll take his spot on the wing for the Seagulls this afternoon. Morgan Campbell, who do you like here this afternoon, mate?
Well, as I say, I think Lakes probably favourites this afternoon, just barely. I think their table position doesn't really reflect the sort of season that they've had because they had some of their star men out towards the end of the year. I think with Adams back in the team, we saw a real lift from them last year. Their forwards were very impressive. I think they'll just get it today, especially with West being down a couple of troops.
Western Suburbs, they look this way. At full-back is Callan Richardson. On the wings is Tim Holman and Jermaine Ale. Simon Williams will partner Brad Tye. The 6 and 7 is Sam Keenan and Jade Porter. Jacob Ling will go to prop, along with Knight, Finn, Mannion, Herman and Shillings. The interchange bench for the Rosellas is Ryan Petro, Mark Farrer, Joel Brown. David Dryden, we understand, will start in the back row. Of course, he's in for Mark Tafua, who was a late withdrawal. He gave the coach Story a ring late yesterday night. And Jacob Ling, along, as I mentioned, with Jermaine Ale, will go on to the wing. So there's a few injuries, but we know the depth here at the Western Suburbs Club. I guess they probably didn't want to test their depth in a sudden death match, but the injuries have certainly crept in the last 24 hours. As I mentioned, there's no Mark Tafua. He's out with a shoulder injury, had an MRI scan yesterday. He thought that he would give himself right up to the night before to prove his fitness, but he said he just couldn't come here today and play. Ryan Lamb also had a finger operation throughout the week, so that's a season-ending injury as well for Ryan Lamb. Also a season-ending injury for Willis Alatini. He has a back injury. And I guess this follows season-ending injuries to the likes of Chad Redmond. I think he suffered his injury back on the 26th of June, and Steve Gordon a couple of weeks ago. So we spoke to Steve Story. He admitted to us in the pre-game that the lead-up was far from perfect for meeting the current title holders, but like everybody here today at Harker Oval, there's certainly a lot of friends and family here with the depth of the club. Morgan, any news before kick-off?
No news as yet. I think it's the Tafua one is the one that's really going to sting, isn't it? I mean, no disrespect to Ryan Lamb or Willis Alatini, but a winger is never going to be as influential in the game as missing out on a front rower. I mean, he's a guy with a lot of finals experience, a lot of NRL experience. To miss him, it puts a lot of responsibility on the rest of the forwards, and it's going to make life very difficult for West today, probably more so than those other injuries.
Well, there's the kids on the field right now. They've opened the field up as they do every match here at Harker Oval. And it is elimination day. Loser, as Morgan mentioned, leaves the country. And I've got to say, a massive crowd in here today. There they are. They're parked themselves onto the concourse. Mums and dads, boyfriends and girlfriends, fathers and mothers, all scattered around here, hoping that their home side, Western Suburbs, will be able to go through to week 3 of the Newcastle semi-finals series. Of course, Lakes United, the defending premiers, they've brought a huge contingent of Lakes fans from the Belmont Swansea area here today as well. We'll go back down to the touchline. What have you got for us as we're only moments away, Tom, for kickoff?
I got to tell you, Pete, when I walked in this morning, my mind said Lakes. I was Lakes all the way. I thought they couldn't be beaten today, but down here with 30 little West fans, I think they've changed my mind. So I'm going to go West today.
Okay, mate, just quickly, which side do you think will favour this breeze? Which way is the breeze coming across the field? I guess it's just swirling around here at Harker Oval.
It's going crossfield, mate. It's going from the camera side and the commentary box all the way over to the Hunter Stadium side. So it'll be interesting. We might see a couple of 40-20s on the far side, I think.
Well, there's the fig trees on our screen right now.
I don't think I'd be too keen to have my car parked under one of those, I don't think, today, Peter. You've got to be a chance of a branch through the windshield, don't you?
I know a lot of the kids love to climb those trees. It's a tradition here. I say they wouldn't be up there today. They might be like Jack in the Box. They might go up, but they might just as quickly come down.
It could be one of those days, though, couldn't it, Peter? I mean, when you've got a breeze like this, fortune can really come into it. I mean, you put a bomb up and it swirls both ways, and, it does 17 tumble turns in the air and it lands on the ground and bounces the wrong way. That's the sort of thing that can decide a semi-final, and it's pure luck. So that may even things out, and it may really affect the result.
Well, here they come now. That man on screen, Chris Adams. His second year at the club. His third match back from a stint at the Newcastle Knights. The coach, Dean Noonan. Still a bit of speculation filtering around the Newcastle Rugby League whether Dean Noonan will continue on as head coach in 2017. He said to us throughout the week, his side in 2016, he describes it as quite patchy, but they'll have to be on their game here today against the Western Suburbs Rosellas. So we wait now for Western Suburbs to come out onto the field. Then we'll have the elementary shaking of the hands, which was introduced in the Country Rugby League last year. You'll hear the crowd roar with delight as Western Suburbs are about to come out on the field. Let's go touchline to Tom Taylor prior to kick-off.
Thanks, Pete. I don't know about you, but I feel this is a bit of a deja vu game. I remember exactly 1 year ago today we had a semi-final at West with West taking on Lakes. Unfortunately, well, that being a major semi-final, of course, not a minor semi-final.
Okay, Tom. We'll come down to you regularly throughout the first half, mate. And as you know, if there's any injuries or anything like that, we'll come down to you to keep our fans around the globe tuned to the Newcastle Rugby League this afternoon informed. So Western Suburbs, no show just yet, but the referees are coming out. Of course, the referee today is John Taylor. The touch judges are Brendan Callender and Dylan Clark.
I'm interested, Peter, in that comment about our viewers around the world. Have we got any intel on this? Do we know what our ratings are like in Morocco or Venezuela? Any mail?
Well, we've got about 15 tuning in from across the ditch right now.
Is that right?
That's in New Zealand.
Yep, lovely.
We do have a number of folks taking our coverage in the early hours of the United Kingdom. We say hello to them. But our biggest base is here in New Lambton and the districts, of course, Morgan, and up through the coal fields. We're just checking the ratings right now. We've got around 150 awaiting kickoff. So this will be a mammoth day.
I tell you who else is awaiting kick-off, the Lakes United players, because they've been out there for about 3 or 4 minutes now, and there's absolutely no sign of an opposition. I wonder, Tom, what's the story? How long are you allowed to stand out there before you call it a walkover?
Mate, I got no idea. There's nothing really referees can do, but I think this might be a little bit of a dirty tactic from West. They said their lead-up's been a bit poor, so hey, whatever strings they can pull before the game, I think they're going to pull them. Indeed.
Well, it's 4 minutes past 3 now, so they might want to get a wriggle on, or John Taylor might decide to everyone can go home.
I think he's thinking about just giving Lakes the toss.
Geez, you'd be dirty if you're one of those people in the United Kingdom who's got up in the early hours of the morning and the game gets called off.
Well, here they come now.
There you go.
They've answered the call. And Western Suburbs coming out onto the park. There's the big number 12 ready to do battle on our screen, Matthew Herman. He's coming across to the cricket pitch to shake Murray's hand. Goulmy is there. There's Williams as well. 15 matches this year for Western Suburbs, Simon Williams. He's bagged 12 tries as well. Representative player, a classy back, and a prolific try scorer. Look out for him. He needs to have a big game for Western Suburbs today. Brad Tye, of course, a West junior. 7 tries in 2016. 11 matches he's been able to put next to his name since coming back from the Gold Coast Titans. Coming, of course, back from the Titans, he went via the Panthers and the Newcastle Knights. We'll go down to the touchline, Tom Taylor. We're about to get underway for week 2 of the Tooheys Cup semi-final series.
Yeah, it's very excited down here, and so is the vibe from the two teams. I just want to make a note, Pete, that West Newcastle was led out by Jermaine Hale, which is something that we haven't seen up here in the box for quite a number of years now, since Mark Tafua was signed and became the captain of the club.
Thanks, Tom.
Something that was pioneered by a Western Suburbs junior, of course, captaining a side with a bench number on your back, a la Kurt Gidley, all those years ago.
Yes.
So this is week 2 of finals football on Bar TV Sports. The winner goes through to week 3. It's do or die today. Great defence coming through from the Rosellas. First up from Matthew Herman. That's Chris Adams. He works the right and he finds Marcel Ikanofo and Ty's there to pounce on him. Of course, Marcel Ikanofo played a lot of New South Wales Cup last year for the Newcastle Knights. This year he has picked up 5 tries along with 17 games. Hasn't missed a match for the Seagulls this year, Ikanofo. There's Adams again in his 3rd game back from the Newcastle Knights as they try and rampage their way over their own 30-metre line. That's Adams again. He's looking around. Off the boot now of Murray. He's going to drill this kick downfield, and it's into the possession here of Tim Holman, and he's coming back, and the reception committee is there to put him on his back there, Morgan, 25 metres out from his own goal line.
Well, a big start from both sides there. The first couple of tackles were absolutely savage by West. They were up quickly and into them. But the Lakes forwards then got the better of it in the second half of that set. Some big carries and shrugging the defenders away in one case with a big run. So it's already going to be a physical game.
So Richardson, very classy, versatile footballer. He's been in great form. He scored a double last week. That's Ryan Petro. He takes it down to the 30-metre line. D-Sacks will get off him along with Hoggets. They're going to kick now off the boot of Keenan. There goes the ball downfield. Picked up by Varka. He tried to get away there from Peter Mannion in his 10th season at the Western Suburbs Rosellas. But Shillings is there to put him on his back just outside their own 20-metre line. Now Goulmere, he comes in off the fullback position. 12 games this year, 7 tries. Very electric from the back, just like this man. Matt Craig in the centres. The 23-year-old. Noonan trusted him last year. And he hasn't let him down. We might call this up. He has. Our referee, John Taylor. Let's go down to another Taylor. Tom Taylor, you're down on the touchline.
Yeah, mate, definitely forward there. Chrissy Adams put his hand up straight away to apologise to the boys after that pass. So I'll be expecting a big tackling set from him now.
So the scrum here, real opportunity for the home side, Rosellas. Porter is about to put the ball into the scrum. 3 minutes gone here. Saturday afternoon finals. That's Richardson. Taken down there by Bradley Murray. Another penalty, so Taylor here.
Well, interesting decision there. I'd be interested to get Tom's thoughts, but it seemed a little bit soft, that one. I think maybe referee Taylor just trying to send the message early that he doesn't want any rubbish in the ruck.
Morgan, that one's against Brad Murray. Brad Murray stood up and just basically got in the dummy ass way and just stood in front of him.
So 4 minutes gone. Keenan goes himself. First year at the club. Very tough. 5'8". We've seen what he can demonstrate in the jersey of number 6. That's Porter giving it out wide. Richardson, he finds Ty. Great tackle down low by Matt Craig. That's Richardson again, finding Porter. He turns it back to Finn, and he runs straight into the shoulder there of Chris Adams. Knight goes from dummy half, fires away to Porter. They go short. Good tackle. I think that's Matthew Herman out there in 12. So it's still on for Western Suburbs. Back to Porter. He's going to put in a kick into the in-goal area. But the Seagulls pluck it into the field of play, and they're back out now to their 10-metre line through Goulmere, who's put down there, of course, by Peter Mannion.
Yeah, a couple of fairly ordinary sets of 6 there, I've got to say, from West when they've had decent field position. They've been down there twice now and haven't really come up with a lot off the kicks or really in the set itself. So they need to get a bit more going with the ball, I think, if they're going to be a threat today. Now we've got a player down here who I think wore one a little bit high as he slipped into that tackle. Didn't look like foul play, just an unfortunate incident, I think.
Let's go down to the touchline. Tom, what was that penalty for? Incident for?
No, we don't have I don't think we have a penalty.
No, we don't have a penalty, no.
Yeah, just a bit of an accidental contact. He might have got clipped in the face, but unfortunately his face was only 1 foot off the ground. So when your face is that low to the ground, unfortunately, you've got a very high chance of copping one.
So we're just hearing the referee. So Goulmere back off the ground here.
He's tough, Jamie Goulmere. He'll play the rest of this game out.
Well, they'd want to hope so. He's an important player for them. They don't really have... well, I suppose they've got Jack Kelly on the bench. They could move people around, but Goulmere's been a good addition for them this year at fullback. So they'll be hoping he stays out there.
So Lakes, 10 metres out from their own line. Adams. That's the 20-metre line they hit through Dylan Harden. 13 games under his belt this year. So they're coming through the middle, and that's Casey Burgess. Plays it back to Adams. Now to Murray. Puts in a wonky old kick downfield. It's bouncing awkwardly as well on the cricket pitch area, but Western Suburbs are there to collect the football, and they're back inside Lakes' territory here. That's Peter Mannion.
Just see Jermaine Ale carrying that ball back for West. I don't think there's a position in this side he hasn't played over the last 10 years. I think he's had a couple of times he's driven the bus to the ground. He does everything that's needed in this West side, and with a couple of wingers going down, he's jumped out there. As we see Jake Finn carrying it up hard, and with Tafua out of action, he's one of the most important players on the field today.
Yeah, he might be small in stature, but he's as tough as teak.
He's going to need to be, just wore one high.
Jake Finn, and time off here will stop the clock at 5 minutes and 26 into the first half. There he is there, Jake Finn. We just said he's tough as teak, and Morgan mentioned he needed to be to get back up, and he's back up, and he'll battle on as the penalty is awarded to the home side here. So they're looking around.
No thoughts of the two by the looks, Peter. They're just going to go straight at them. Fair enough, too early in the game.
What a shot on Matthew Herman. Knight cutting out one as we come back up to the wide shot. And there's a little lock on here.
Well, Pete, I said early on their attack didn't look crisp, and that was particularly, well, whatever the opposite of crisp is, soft, I suppose. The ball going into the shoulder there of Peter Mannion, training ground move, but just didn't come together for them at all. And that's the third time they've been down here in this first 5 minutes, and the third time they haven't come away with much at all.
So a dramatic afternoon. The wind is still howling across Harker Oval, and you can see from our pictures the intensity of the breeze. I mean, our tripods are nearly 100 kilos, but they're shaking in the gale. As Varka plays it back, they cross the 20-metre line and hit Sam Keenan. Murray awaiting in a dummy half. Will he relieve Adams? No, Adams pushes him out the way. That's the 30-metre line. They've gone over and taken the shot there of Matthew Herman. So 7 minutes here as they charge their way up towards the 40. The ball pops out, and a penalty goes to the Seagulls. Here, let's go touchline to Tom Taylor.
Yeah, I heard a bit of a upstairs from down here, but I'm with you guys. I didn't see that to be stripped out as much as referee John thought that one, but hey, that's why he's out there and I'm not.
I suppose, geez, from up here, we're in a pretty good spot up here, and it looked more like the ball was really jarred out by the contact than there was an actual strip of the bloke trying to get his hand in there and rake the ball out. So they might have had a bit of fortune there, Lakes. Good opportunity for them now, though.
Well, they haven't been down this end of the field, have they? In 7 minutes, they're entering the 30-metre zone of Western Suburbs. So 0-0 on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard as Adams sends it away. They're coming out to the edge. They're running hard. That's Jay Sullivan. Of course, his dad is Mick Sullivan, who was in the 85, 86 and 87 grand final squad for Lakes. Mannion in there, knocking down Casey Burgess. So 8 minutes gone as Adams goes for a dummy half run. Now they've surrendered the ball, and the referee will put down a scrum here, Tom, 5 metres out from the Western Suburbs goal line.
Yeah, mate, a bit of a let-off for West there. They were looking like something was going to crack in their defence there, so very fortunate to have the ball from a double knock on here.
You can see the tactic, though, straight away, can't you, for West? I mean, for Lakes, sorry, they get those big forwards rolling and then get Adams snapping out of dummy half, speed out of there, and getting the defenders on their line, standing still. It didn't work for them on that occasion, but it's dangerous when it does.
So we've got Tommy Taylor down on the touchline, and Morgan Campbell up here in the broadcast box here today. Week 2 of finals football. This is do or die rugby league here this afternoon. Knight joined West in 2015 from South Newcastle. 17 games under his belt for the Rosellas this year. So that's the 30-metre line. Knight again. Goes himself. And D-Sacks takes him one-on-one as Richardson sending it back there now to Keenan. He's going to bang this ball downfield with the breeze going across field. And Goulmere is at the back.
Good chase there from West. They look really keen.
Now to Wikanofo. Try-scoring phenomenon. A machine.
brilliant speed. That's why he played a number of games over at the Knights in seasons gone by in the New South Wales Cup. Back here today, putting his heart and soul into the yellow and blue. As Adams, now was that touched by Shillings?
We'll have 6 again, Pete.
Yeah, it was. So 6 more tackles here. The crowd, they don't like it, but I think the referee got it right there. Back to Randall. He's down to the 30. As Adams looking around for options. Sullivan back on the inside it comes. They're knocking him down in numbers, Western Suburbs. Knight is in there again. Along there, of course, with Petro. They come out now to the edge, and that's Murray. He's being tangled in a funnel web. And the Spiders capture him and bring him down. Quick play the ball. Adams got away from Shillings. Good roll forward. Shillings comes back and takes the tackle. They'll work the right-hand side of the park. Sullivan will kick, and they'll score.
Simultaneous, I think, Pete. It's got to be a try.
Taylor gives the first try to the Seagulls. Well, it was a wonky old kick, but a bit of luck has turned into 4 points.
Yeah, lovely kick there. Just rolled it into the in goal. We'll see it on the replay in a moment. They had the momentum. First receiver, Murray, getting the ball. And as that kick went through, it was a clean chase. And the big second rower just landed on the ball there. As we have a look on the replay, Adams out of dummy half. He gave it across there to Sullivan, who just rolled it in. I think, in fact, it's the big Curtly Hope Hodges in the 8 who falls on the ball pretty much simultaneous with the West fullback, and Lakes are on the board.
So, the first time they've been down inside, Rosella's half pretty much. They've been able to test them and come away with 4 points after 12 minutes here on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. We'll go to Tom after the kick. Here's Brad Murray. He adds the extras. So 11 minutes gone here. Lakes on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. They lead by 6 points to 0. Let's go touchline. Thanks to Benedict Waste Recycling. Here's Tommy Taylor.
Thanks, Pete. I tell you what, every kick for goal in this weather is going to be a tough one. I just got to give a big rap for Jay Sullivan then. Right before he put that little rubber kick in, he just showed the ball and pretended to pass, and that committed the defence. So well done, Jay.
And they were able to do that because you see an awful kick-off. They were able to do that because of what I was talking about before. The big forwards got them rolling, and by pushing West back and back and back, they were quite flat on their line, and so the chaser had the run on them and got there first.
So first try to Curtly Hoggets. That's his second try this season. 9 appearances in the yellow and blue for the defending premiers, Lakes United. It was Lakes United, 11 premierships in their proud history. I guess that's a small amount compared to the might of Western Suburbs as they come over the halfway line again. And Mannion is in there along with Finn, assisted by Matthew Herman. Back then out of Sullivan. He's going to drill this kick downfield. There's Richardson. He's got space in front of him, but the space closed as we see now Ty. Dishing it away now to Jermaine Ale. That's him in 17, 16th game for the Rosellas. Jermaine plays it back then out to Brad Ty, and the former Newcastle Knight and Penrith Panther and Gold Coast Titan. He's out to the 40.
We saw a little bit of Callan Richardson there bringing that ball back and going past a couple. Last week at Townsend Oval, I don't know that West got him that involved in the game. He's in there at fullback. They need to be getting him a bit of ball because he's terribly evasive and has a great turn of speed.
So that's Warren Shillings, the veteran lock. I understand he declared himself fit on Friday. Bit of an ankle scare throughout the week, but going by what we're seeing so far, looks like he's fit and ready to roar. Now to Varka. He runs blindside. Taken into the ground there from Tin Holman, who I believe has come up from the Group 10. Is that right, Tom? Down on the touchline, thanks to Benedict Waste Recycling?
Yeah, mate, I think his recent club in Group 10 was Bathurst, if my sources are correct.
So Adams again, giving it back this time now to their number 6 in Sullivan. kicking away from Ale, and Ale just sees this go into touch about 25 metres out from his own goal line.
He could have been a little bit nervous when it went over his head, because if it had just pitched and gone a little bit straighter, it was a big chance for 40-20. In the end, it was about 4 metres short. But Jay Sullivan already trying to test that wind, because the way it's swirling, if it just goes your way for a second, it can take you down the field.
So you can hear the wind in the background. That's no wind machine. The machine is coming from the skies above. A bumper crowd in here for finals football. I'm sure the officials here at Harker Oval would be satisfied with the turn up here. So they're coming outside their own end, and this is Simon Williams. As I mentioned at the top, always in the mix, always sniffing out a try from anywhere on the park. That's the 40. Away to Knight. They come short. They're about to hit the 40-metre line of Lakes United. Richardson awaits in a dummy half, looking around for runners, finds Shillings. And Shillings takes a shot there of Randall and also Casey Burgess. He'll play the ball back now. Knight giving it away this time to Keenan. He's going to kick for himself. But Varka, he's back there. Their electrifying winger, Morgan, is back out to their own 20-metre line. As Gulmere goes for a scoot from dummy half, and he's been put away by Williams, and he's in the touch.
Well, Jamie Gulmere there, I think he'd like to have that one over again. Going down the short side, terribly outnumbered, and dragged into touch there. Big chance for West this. It was a nervous little moment there as Keenan put that kick through. He looked like he might just pluck it out of the air, but Varka was just in the nick of time to steal it away. In the end, it's not going to make too much difference, because West have a scrum 30 out centre field.
That happened right in front of you, Tommy. You nearly got steamrolled yourself.
Yeah, had to get out of the way pretty fast. I'm just trying to figure out why the run was made on the short side. He was only tackled 15 metres in from touch, and after a grubber and chase, everyone's on side. I don't know why he went short side. Well, they're paying for it now.
So Brad Tye finally put away by Craig and Ikanofo. So real opportunity now for the Rosellas as Matthew Herman takes 4 on the back of him. Tye, he goes to dummy half. Fires away to Finn. He finds Shillings. He's close. He's 2 metres out. Knight, back to Finn. Knight, now Keenan. Here's a chance. They'll kick, they'll chase, they'll get it back and they'll score. Peter Mannion, I think you'll find, has got the first try for the Rosellas. They're back at 6-4 with a kick to come.
Well, a few minutes ago I said Jake Finn was the most important player on the field. I didn't quite expect that out of him. The first ball that he got there, he threw the lovely flat pass to Warren Shillings to nearly put him over. Then he got it one off the ruck and got the ball out the back to Keenan. He's attracting defenders in and leaving them short out wide, because he's really their biggest threat in the forwards. As we see on the replay here, the ball goes to Keenan, who's then able to just dribble this kick through, and Mannion was able to get between a couple of slow chases in the end there. I think Lakes were a little bit flat chasing that ball back. Mannion gets there, had a bit to do, gets it down, and we could be all square.
Well, Peter Mannion, in his 10th year at the club, he came across from the Riverina district down in Wagga Wagga. He's won premierships, lost a few as well, but always sniffing around for a try.
Geez, would have got good value today on the first try scorer double, Peter, 8 and 11.
Would you what?
Outstanding.
Of course, get involved throughout the semi-final series at top better. Here's the kick. Keenan looking to convert. Oh, that's a horror. He's missed it. So no change to the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. Let's go touchline. Tom Taylor.
Well, as I said before, every kick's a hard one with this wind, but I tell you what, you can't blame that one on the wind, Pete. That was a dead set shocker.
Didn't get into the wind. Didn't get near the wind.
Spooned it to the left.
That might explain why they didn't take the 2 earlier. Dear, oh dear.
Well, they change their goal kickers every try, Wes.
So we're back here at Harker Oval, here in Newcastle, for the Country Rugby League semi-final series, and Finn, he gets the legs pumping and takes the Rosellas back out to the 20-metre line before he's collected there by Dylan Harden. Again, 3 in there from the team from the Lake, taking on the might of Western Suburbs. That's Shillings. Rampages his way into Burgess and James D. Sachs. Quick play the ball, finding Knight, giving it away to Ty. He'll run before he's cleaned up there by Hoggets and Adams. That's the halfway line they're about to come through, and that's Petro. Dished down by Randall. You can see the leaves going across the cricket pitch here as Keenan goes high to the air, trying to test Goulmere. But so far he's been the safe as the Bank of England at the back for the Seagulls. Now to Craig. Being knocked hard there from Jade Porter. Of course, Jade Porter's the coach of the under-6s at the Cougars out in Cardiff. We did a piece with him throughout the year on Bar TV Sports. His side allowed an opposition kid, only 6 years of age, to score his first try in rugby league. Nice touch there from Porter and the Cougars. Not a nice touch there, was it, from Sean Boss? He's just lost it, Coles, as we go down to the touchline with Tom Taylor.
I can't critique Boss too much there. That ball was a bit of a dud pass there, was behind him, so it would have been very hard to catch.
A few mistakes in it already here from Lakes. They're giving West every chance here. I think that's the third time they've turned it over, coming off their own line, either by going into touch or dropping it or whatever it might be. It's not a habit they need to be getting into. This is a little bit more like what they did against Macquarie than what they did last week against Curry.
So time off here. So 20 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. As we're just waiting there for Tim Holman to pack into the front row. Well, you don't see that every day. As
the delay there, Pete. Warren Schilling's just got a bit of claret on his nose, so they're just getting that cleaned up.
Nice tackle down low on Richardson from Chris Adams. Now to Fenn. The ball spills out. Capitalised by the Seagulls. And Petro is there to clean him up. So Varka now, that's him about to get the ball. He's going to go for a run from dummy half. Up the middle of the edge of the cricket pitch.
Yeah, you can see what Jake Finn was up to there just at the last, trying to get that ball around the corner. If you're a genius, if it works, and you look like a bit of a goose if it doesn't. In the end, things just didn't quite go his way. The Lakes players were on the ball. But that's going to be a threat for them with Finn taking it up. If he gets one of those to hand, there's a clean break up the middle line.
So Adams, all his experience, will he be the key? There he is again. He's everywhere, making impact. Left, right, and where he is about to play the ball in the centre. Back there now to Murray. He's going to put the right boot to the ball. They're chasing through. Richardson's got an awkward bounce, but cleans up safely before he takes the shot of Randall. Now to Williams. Charges his way outside his own 10-metre zone.
That kick from Brad Murray was like he played it out of a bunker there. It just sat and sort of with a bit of backspin. Very awkward for Callan Richardson.
Now to Jermaine Ale. They don't want to put him on the ground until now. Gets up in his 16th game. Penalty going to the home side. Here, let's go touchline, the Tommy Taylor.
Yeah, just unnecessary holding there. Jermaine Ailes in an upright position, ready to play the ball, and the Lakes players just kept holding on to him. Don't need to do that.
Good kick for touch. They got the wind behind them in the first half, as demonstrated perfectly there. So Ty takes the tap and sends it across to Herman. 10 metres in from the eastern touchline. Knight finding Jake Finn. Keenan. That's Peter Mannion. Got a good offload in him when he takes it to the line, Peter Mannion. First try scorer, of course, for Western Suburbs here today. This is Knight. He's after 5 tries today, Knight. But a little knock on, I think you'll find touchline Tommy Taylor.
Yeah, mate, just a little spill there, a little bobble in the tackle. Unfortunately, it's gone against West, so Lacey going to get the ball, which is a bit of a relief there because West were in a good attacking opportunity after that penalty.
It's just not quite coming together for them. You get the sense with Wests here that you've got a lot of individuals trying to do things on their own. I mean, we've seen Keenan with his chip and chase. We've seen Knight there sort of running around sort of in circles and throwing an offload to no one in particular. We saw Finn throw one as well without anyone coming through. They just don't seem to be operating as a team at the moment.
Is that wind still blowing across the field? What's it doing now? Is it intensified as we see Ikanofo goes to the 30 there, Tom?
Yeah, mate, if I try to stand on one foot, I'll get blown over.
No, you wouldn't want to be Mary Poppins out here today, would you?
No, or Marilyn Monroe.
That's Adams. Sullivan. Up quickly was Knight. So 40 metres out from their own goal line here. 10 metres out from halfway as Adams now goes short.
It's a funny sort of a game, this, isn't it, Peter? I mean, neither side seems particularly bothered about winning it. They're kind of both turning over a lot of ball and not trying too much in possession. Although this is an awkward kick.
The bounce of the ball is going to be pivotal. Which way is it going to go? Well, it swings back until now into Lakes' favour, but John Taylor is going to call this up as we got a touch judge coming onto the field, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, mate, don't get your hopes up. He's just coming on there to tell the boys just to play the ball a little bit so John Taylor can get back on side.
So this is Knight finding Porter, giving it away now to Herman. He had options on his right, but ended up taking the the best option. That's Ryan Petro, and he's out to the 40-metre line. So 6 points to 4 here in the finals of the Newcastle Rugby League as Warren Shillings gets them going towards the halfway line, and he's lost the ball. Let's go back down to the touchline. A little knock on there from Shillings.
Yeah, mate, West can't seem to complete their sets. We've had a couple of spills in a row now, but this one unfortunately is in Lakes territory, so Lakes will have the ball, and I'd say in 3 tackles they'll be in prime attacking opportunity here, so it'll be interesting this set.
Well, someone has to hang on to it at some point, don't they? I mean, both sides are very charitable at the moment, turning it over on various parts of the field. Nobody seems bothered about scoring, so Lakes with a chance here.
So 14 minutes out from half-time. Mannion trying to get the ball back. Along with Finn. Adams. That's the 40-metre line now. Great run by Chance Burgess. Considering that he's played 17 games and a majority of them are off the bench. Tremendous effort this year to bag 9 tries as Murray goes across field looking for support. Playing the ball there was Harton. Sullivan lost it. Did it go backwards?
Oh, a lucky one there.
That was lucky for Lakes. One might say a terrible call from the referee. Back to comes now to Burgess. I know he's your father, but I don't know about that, Tom. As we see now, Adams, watch out, all right. That's what he tells the opposition players. But they take him into the ground. Sullivan spinning it wider. Murray kicking. And Shillings. He's there to save the day for Western Suburbs.
Well, Lakes just look a bit sharper when they're attacking the line, don't they? I mean, they're getting those defenders stuck on the line and they're coming at them hard. West's up the other end, just not quite getting it together with the ball, as we've discussed. But there's still plenty of time in the game, and at the moment it seems like the side that hangs onto the ball is probably going to win.
Yeah, nothing in at 6-4 on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard as Western Suburbs hitting the 30-metre line. Now to Ty, dangerous. How many times has he gone from dummy half in the NRL? Doesn't matter whether he's been playing for the Knights, the Titans or the Panthers. He's a lethal weapon. And off the back of that, they've been able to put in a kick downfield. A horrible bounce. Herman's coming through. But Gulmere, fingertip control to get it back in his possession before he's been cleaned up there by Jay Porter.
Well, didn't someone say that it'd be awkward for kickers today because the ball will be soiling around and there might be a few wobbly bounces? That's exactly the sort of thing we were talking about. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see it today. In fact, as I say that wind's just picked up again. It's blow a dog off a chain stuff out there at the moment. Has to be a factor in the match.
As Josh Charles, right on the edge of the summer cricket pitch. You can hear the wind in the background. And the leaves, well, they're just blowing in any direction. Where's the kick going to go? In which direction? Straight down to Ale. Rampages his way back. And Sullivan's in there. Of course, Sullivan, you can just tune to the coverage. His proud dad, Mick Sullivan, what a trooper he has been. And when he went around for Lakes in the 80s, in the late 70s. So a great pedigree. The Jay Sullivan, and loves his footy as Charles has just been got a stud, I think, to the face. As we see Peter Mannion to the 40, losing it, and back it comes again to Varka. Trying to pinch the ball off him. Williams is assisted by Keenan.
When was the last time we had a completed set here? From either side really coming off their line. Remarkable for teams of such high quality to be turning over this much ball.
Last week, Morgan.
Yeah, most likely.
So 11 minutes remaining. Adams scampering his way down to the 20. 22-year-old D-Sax sends it back to Sullivan. Great ball. That's Ekanofo. Don't let him run. They know that. That's why they're tackling him in threes. Chris Adams again, finding Murray. 10 minutes to go in the first half. There's a chance if they can offload. Randall plays it back. Varka, fifth tackle.
Well,
I
don't know what you would call that. I'm going to assume that wasn't a set play, that those two weren't supposed to both get the ball, and it ended up looking like one was pushing the other through the gap. Very peculiar, but again, things just not quite coming together.
Trying to push their way over the line, Tom.
Yeah, they were just both trying to run the same hotline there. Unfortunately, it's only big enough for one player.
So Richardson goes for a scoot from dummy half. Played in a number of positions, Callan Richardson, since he's been here at the club. Very versatile. Great ball out the back. They're keeping it alive. And that's Jermaine Ale. 4 tries this season for him. Back to Porter, turning it away to Finn. Big pole backs it, but play continues as we see Keenan giving it away. Williams steps, weaves, sees the gap. He's down inside the 20. And he's cut down there. Western Suburbs, 8 minutes out from half-time. They've got a chance. Porter, he finds Knight. Knight is still going. He's got support. Back to Ling. Oh, he offloads and they're under the post.
Surely not. He's going to give this.
Why wouldn't you give it? A tremendous try to Mark Farah.
Well, a tremendous try, sure, but geez, there were a couple of questionable passes there, and particularly the possible knock-on toward the end as they busted up the middle. It was a lovely ball from Keenan back inside to Knight, who hit the gap, was nearly decapitated by an arm across the face, and then continued running. He got another pass away, and we'll see on the replay here, the ball came away to Keenan, and he fizzed it over. It was Porter, in fact, who threw that inside ball. There's Knight still in possession of his head, out the back, and finally, well, Herman sort of fell over the line almost as an afterthought there as the ball came off Jacob Ling, and in the end, they've had to say try. So there you go, 10-6 it'll be in a moment.
How did you see it down on the touchline, Tom?
Mate, Lakes are blowing up at that decision. I think they're under the assumption that the Chris Knight offload has been knocked on before it has been caught. That's the thought at Lakes, but Wests are more than happy with the try, I must say.
That's certainly how it looked live, I must say. Tom, I was a bit surprised when they let play go on there. But a bit of fortune, I suppose.
Well, it definitely lived this crowd up because the try was scored down the end of all the supporters.
It was a very brisk bit of play. I mean, it was good work, cutting back on the inside, a bit of pace into a gap. It's what they've needed, a few players working together.
It's interesting, Morgan, after all these little drops in tackles, and they pull that off.
Well, that's Western Suburbs for you. They can score a try any minute, anywhere. And that's why they're up now by 4. No use crying over spilt milk. It's on the scoreboard, and you'll read it about it in tomorrow's Newcastle Herald. So 7 minutes to go in the first half. We've got Matt Harris here today, the CEO, along with Pam. They're all coming along for the ride. As Knight, he says to the Lakes, come along for the ride and come and get me right on your own 20-metre line. So this match, seesawing from one end of the field to the other, as we see now Finn. He goes straight through. Quick play the ball. Knight, he scoots from dummy half. He finds Porter. He sees the gap. He's been... Was he stripped of that touch? Was he stripped of the ball, Tom?
That's a knock on.
Knock
Don't
on.
think so, mate. He was holding that ball out under his wing, so a bit of a loose carry there. I tell you what, Pete, this is a very nice tactic from a kickoff from Brad Murray. He knows the wind's blowing against him, so he's just going to kick that ball as high as he can and hope for the best and that it blows back to the Lakes team.
Now, Jake Finn's got a bit of a problem here. He's just making his way to the scrum and looks a little bit sore. He's just trying to get himself back. It looks like he's going to continue, but he looks in a bit of pain. That was a great carry. That was real 10-pin bowling stuff. He left a few of them behind there with that run, Jake Finn. And that's what they're going to need from him. We haven't really seen the forward battle that we expected to see because neither side's been getting to the end of their sets. But if it gets into some sort of consistent rhythm, we're going to see these forwards really start belting each other.
So Kelly, he'll go to dummy half. Gives it away to D-Sacks. That's Jay Kelly waiting in a dummy half. Finds Sullivan. Now this is Gulmia. At half-time, we've got the referees coming up here in the Tooheys Cup half-time special. We talked to Tom and Kylie Aylett. Went up there throughout the year as we see Murray going across field. Gave himself up in the end. Last tackle now. So where will they find the kick coming from? As Murray gets to play the ball. Look for the kick now. Sullivan, he's going to take the line on. Well, he decided to run the ball there, Morgan. And easy turnover back down to the Rosellas.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the plan was there. Jay Sullivan, I assume he was just going to try and get that ball away, but in the end didn't find the pass. Turned over pretty meekly. So it's a chance here for West on the counter.
So now to Herman. Plays it back to Ty. Giving away now to Farah. We've got 4 minutes remaining. As Knight finding Lynn. Keenan, great ball. Mannion, he's inside the 40. He got it back to Williams. Williams stepping. Williams still going. He's got Richardson. Williams offloading. Switching it now is Mannion. What a run by Simon Williams.
Oh, there's a bit of
He got up swinging too.
He did.
Back to net of Lynn.
Be surprised if we don't come back for that.
So Knight, that's him now in a dummy half. Back to Keenan. He'll kick, he'll chase. The ball's in the in-goal area. But Varka sees it go dead. Back out to the 20. Let's go touchline. Tom Taylor.
Yeah, Peter Mannion had plenty of space down this commentary box side, and he had a 3-on-1 overlap, and he went to get into 4th and 5th gear, but unfortunately he didn't have any, so he had to unload that ball straight away to Williams.
So now to Varka. 10-6, leading into the break. Finals football in the Newcastle Rugby League. As we see Matt Craig on an absolute special from Mark Farah. Now to Wikanofo. He puts the shoulder into Knight and takes the Seagulls. Morgan up towards halfway.
It's one thing for Wikanofo and Varka and those types to be carting the ball up like that, but I think Matt Craig would be better to stay out on his wing rather than running at the forwards. That was very savage treatment. Lakes moving forward well, though, with the ball. This is what they expect to see from their big pack.
So Murray on the back. 20 metres away. Only down by 4. That's Boss. Murray on the left-hand side of Kelly. That's Murray now. He's going to go high to the air. They're coming through. Josh Charles is there. But Holman, he plucks it out of the air and comes down with it, Tom. 2 metres out from his own line as we see now. Richardson. He's been pushed back there by Gulmia. Now to Mannion. We'll come down to Tom in a moment. We're just fixing up his battery and his microphone as we see now Porter. He's in a dummy half here with only 2 minutes to go in the first half. Western Suburbs leading by 10 points to 6. With 2 minutes to go, leading into half-time. Back to Finn, gives a short ball. That's the 30-metre line. Adams is in there to collect. Farah, Knight, inside the 40. Puts in a massive kick downfield. Who's at the back to clean it up? That's James Varka. He wasn't originally named in the program coming into this match, James Varka. Earlier in the week, there was James Craig about to get his opportunity, but Varka's out there and going well. Now it comes back across the face to Kelly. He finds Charles. That's the 40-metre line they're about to hit.
Last minute, Pete. Minute to go.
Thanks, Morgan, as they now go from dummy half. That's Jack Kelly. 15 games this year for the Seagulls. 2 tries to his name. As we see now, Murray trying to take them on. Again to Kelly. Back to Sullivan. They're going to hoof it high to the air off the boot. I think you'll find Randall putting in a kick. And what a great take at the back by their classy fullback in Callan Richardson.
Well, it ended up being pretty awkward, didn't it? Even when the Locks kick, it's going to be awkward on a day like this. And Richardson will bring this away. There's not too much left in this first half, you wouldn't think. Wests have, well, they've probably been better on balance. They've come up with a couple of good plays, but neither side will be particularly happy, I wouldn't have thought. They're both turning it over an awful lot. And, well, it's well poised. Lakes often at their best when chasing points in the last quarter of a game.
So Keenan looking out to the wing. There's Ty. The siren's gone in the background. That's Ty. Puts in a kick downfield. They're coming through. Ailes chasing. But Dylan Harton, he sees the ball go over the touchline, 20 metres out. And that's half-time. Half-time here in the minor semi-final. Wests go to the break, leading by 10 points to 6.
Well, a strange sort of half, wasn't it? I mean, there wasn't a lot of quality in it, and then there were a couple of moments of very, very high quality. Yeah, it was a patchy, strange sort of a game that never got into any rhythm in that first half, and you do sense that whoever straightens up in the second half, starts hanging onto the ball and puts their plays together, will probably go through to the next round.
How did you see the first 40 minutes, Tom?
Yeah, it was good. The game there's nothing wrong with the game. However, I don't know about you guys up in the box, but it seemed really quiet. For a semi-final eliminator game of rugby league, the crowd, I thought were going to be a little bit more in it.
Okay, Tom, well, Western Suburbs. There's Brad Ty on the screen right now. They'll go inside the sheds, have a few oranges and come back. Who will it be after 80 minutes? Who will bow out of the competition? All those questions and answers will be delivered in the next 40 minutes. But right now, it's half-time, and throughout the year we went up to referees training and we caught up with Tom and Kylie Aylett.
I lived when I was a kid and used to go down there every Saturday and got involved that way. I met a few of the referees down there and they told me one day to come along and do a referees course, and I was about 13 at that point, and from there on I went.
And Kylie, what about yourself?
Growing up in football and being a ball girl for 9 or 10 years, being involved with football,
Yeah, I guess, you know, you've loved it for so long now. What do you enjoy most about it?
Well, to be honest, I look at it in terms of I get paid to keep fit. I think, you know, see all these people, especially at work, and pay a lot of money to go to the gym, and I get paid to keep fit, and yeah, give me something outside work to focus on, and it's a good stress release. It's funny saying that, but it is. And yeah, it's just something. It's another habit and something, a hobby that we share together. That is something mutual between us. So yeah,
I guess it's a rare combination. You know, husband, wife, touchy, referee. Who's the boss out on the field?
Well, you know, I don't think I've. The first time we met, I touched us one of your games, so that's your claim to fame. But
that's right.
Up here, you touched us my games, but it has been noted by a couple of players on the field about who's in charge. So you usually get a comment about, Tom, are you refereeing this game? Was it Kylie? And you know, is it the same at home and things like that? So yeah, the questions like that get asked by the players on the field in a bit of good banter.
Has there ever been times where you've taken the field back home?
Oh, I don't think. After each game, we have to review our games, and there's been been times where I don't think we've agreed
discussions
on decisions in games, but you know that's kind of where it really stays. It hasn't caused me to sleep on the lounge or anything like that. It doesn't go that far, but yeah, certainly sometimes, you know, even just watching, say, like Friday Night Football, generally we have the same mindset about something, but you know, there can be differences there.
You touched on there the players. Generally, they're pretty good.
Yep.
You know, what do they think about, you know, husband and wife? Oh, I guess a lot of them may not even know.
No, I wouldn't think many. No.
Yeah, no one said anything to me. It's more him when he's in the middle.
Yeah, but yeah, different players that we know personally, like some players that their children go to our daughter's school and things like that, that know that, or mention, is Kylie out there today? Always tell me and things like that. So yeah.
And Kylie, I guess there's not that many ladies refereeing across rugby league in Australia. What would you say to encourage more ladies into the game?
To do it, to join your local association and get involved. You get a lot out of it, that's for sure.
And back home, you've got a few kids now. What do they think of mum and dad out on the field each weekend?
Oh, our eldest daughter, Mia, she thinks it's she loves coming along to games and seeing me out there or Kylie out there, and especially the Bar TV coverage or something like that. I know a couple of weeks ago we were at a club for dinner, and I think one of our games was replayed, and she saw us on TV or watches the news and sees the highlights and they look for it. So yeah, it's funny. And then our younger ones kind of think every NRL game because someone's in pink, oh, that's you, Dad, and I said, no, it's not, darling. So yeah, they get a bit of a chuckle out of it. Yeah.
Overall, I mean, how are we in the refereeing ranks here in Newcastle? I mean, are there a lot of people wanting to become a referee?
I think we're pretty well off right now. We've put about 30 new referees through this year, and I think we'll run some more courses next year. But yeah, right now we're good.
Yeah, so for a few people that may be umming and ahhing about getting into refereeing, what do they do?
Shoot me an email.
Yeah.
Which is ceo@ncrlra.org.au, and yeah, I pass that email on to our coaching director.
A lot of people would say it's a tough job being a referee. What would you say about that?
Oh, it is. I mean, well, see, there we go. You don't think it is, I do, but you're the one on the touch station, I'm the one in the middle. It comes with the territory, I guess. You've got to know that's what you're going to get yourself into. I think the biggest misconception is that a lot of young referees start that they're going to referee like the NRL, and coaches and spectators think under sevens has got to be like NRL. Everyone's got to realise everyone starts young and it starts at junior level to get to the level we're at now in terms of the Bar TV coverage. We've both been running for about 15 years, so it doesn't happen overnight, and you've got to have certain attributes like a thick skin and things like that.
Yeah, and are there more opportunities now in the game because at the highest of level, we have two referees? Are there more chances to progress quicker through the ranks?
I certainly think there's opportunities there, and I guess a recent example of that is one of the members from our association, Nick Bichel. He was touch judged. He touch judged their first two State of Origin games. He started out just like we did, refereeing under 7s and 8s as a teenager, and come up through the grades like us, and got taken to the NRL grades, and went from there. And culmination of his work this year was getting the first two State of Origin games. So things like that happen. It's not people on TV all start out the same level that we did, and the opportunities exist for kids to have that go. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of criticism and also how our games have gone over, the reviews and the coverage that it gets. Certainly there's a lot of work going in on our behalf to make sure our performances are up to scratch, because obviously there's games on the line.
That's it, I guess only 30-40% is on the field, the rest is behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's right. Even attendance here at training, it contributes to your appointments in Newcastle. So
yeah, it's what you put back into the refereeing association and how you get from that.
And just hearing from what you've been telling me tonight, you wouldn't change it for anything.
No.
No, it's not something we have to do. We don't have to do this. Players don't have to play, but it's something we choose to do. And like I said, by choosing it and being here tonight and things like that, it's just it's an outlet. It's another something aside from work, something that we don't have to do, but we choose to, and it's something that we share together, and it's a good topic of conversation.
I'm here with Newcastle Rugby League first grade referee of the day, Tom Aylett, who is just today refereed his 200th game, 200th first grade game, to be honest. Tommy, do you remember the first ever first grade game you refereed?
I do. I was about 17 and about the same height.
About the same height. Where did you ref it at? Was it in Newcastle?
It was at Katoomba Showground. And it was snowing.
It was snowing. snowing at Katoomba. So how many first grade games did you do in the Penrith Association?
I did the Devils number 87.
87. So that means 113 for Newcastle. So you think you got another 200 up your sleeve?
I don't know. We'll get past next week and we'll see if we can get the 202.
We'll get the 202, maybe even 203 at the end of the year.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, Tommy. Oh, I just need to make a note that you're standing on the comms gear box just so you can get up to eye level with me. Appreciate it, mate.
No dramas at all.
So we're back for the second half here, the Newcastle Tooheys Cup for 2016. Lakes United. Well, they were able to score first points through Kirkley Hoggett, who picked up his second try of 2016. But the might of Western Suburbs, as we know, they fight back right to the death. And that's why it's 10 points to 6 at half-time as we are about to launch into the second half after 40 minutes. Who will bow out of the competition? Are we going to go to Golden Point for the first time? Stay with us right here on the home of Newcastle Rugby League, Bar TV Sports. And if you'd like to engage with the commentary box, hit us up via Twitter at Bar TV Sports or at Newcastle_RL. We'll go touchline to Tom Taylor to see what the coaches have had to say at half-time after this.
Yeah, mate,
First set of 6. As we see now, Knight is very keen. Here we see Porter. Tommy, we'll come down to you shortly, mate, as we see Matthew Herman about to hit the 40-metre line. So 4 points separating Wests and Lakes. Now back to Porter. He's going to test Varka. Now, did Varka take that ball?
He did. It was a sensational bit of work too, because I thought he might have been a grenade disposal man or something in his past life. It was incredible.
Fingertip control. I don't know if we can have a replay of that coming up, but
he might have worked in the explosives disposal unit.
Unbelievable ball handling skills there from James Varka.
You better go to Tom, Pete. He's hanging out down there.
Hey, Tom, let's go down to you, mate. What did the coaches say at half-time?
Thanks, Pete. I was just listening out for the West change room, and it's all about set completion, mate, as we could expect. Steve just wants them to make sure that they're completing as many sets as possible and cutting down Chris Adams' time from dummy half. So as far as Lakes, they were pretty quiet. I think they were pretty calm. Chris Adams said a couple of things, but he's not very loud, so I couldn't hear much of Lakes.
So Richardson finding Jade Porter. That's Holman. Straight into Sean Boss. So Knight sending it away now to Keenan, who finds Mannion. Picked up a try here this afternoon for Western Suburbs. Knight again in a dummy half. He's going to kick for himself. He backs himself. Can he get the ball back? He nearly did, but Dylan Harton was there. Now, the ball's come free.
Oh.
What have you seen down on the touchline there, Tom?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of this one. I think he's calling a knock-on from
Lakes.
Let's just have a look. It's a Lakes feed, so he's called a knock-on. I'm guessing from Chris Knight with that one-on-one strip, he's going to say that was stripped forward.
Oh. Well, they have got away with one. Great opportunity this for Lakes. I think that was half 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
So Kelly giving it away now to Marcel Ikanofo. Hasn't missed a match this year, Marcel. Tremendous effort from Ikanofo. Plenty of experience too in the 2 jersey. It's Kelly now sends it across to Sean Boss. Another one that's been exceptional for the Seagulls this year. Nearly every game. So that's the 40-metre line. of Western Suburbs, trailing by 4. Kelly back to Boss. Tackle down low from Mark Farah. Kelly switches it back to the left. Murray stabbing the kick in between the winger and the fullback. But Richardson, he's been in great form in recent weeks. But he's lost the ball right there.
Well, what a chance here for Lakes. They've got they could spread it to the right straight away here. West are a bit short.
So chance now for Murray. Williams wrapping him up.
He did the exact opposite of spreading it to the right. He ran from dummy half to the left.
So there's no Adams. Chris Adams as Murray, slow to play the ball there. He was injured in that tackle. Clutches towards his rib cage as Knight, like Jack in the Box, comes off his line and gets the ball back for Western Suburbs.
Well, does either side want the ball? I don't want it. You have it. Dear, oh dear. The second half started much like the first.
Penalty. Let's go touchline, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, mate, that had to give. The first one, I reckon, was almost a penalty. Referee Taylor would have thought about that one, and then we've just got a mirror image of the first tackle, just laying in the ruck too long, just delaying the play of the ball. Yeah, mate, he's not gonna put up with that.
So Keenan, of course, puts boot to the ball. I understand it's his first year here at the Rosellas. 11 matches under his belt since he's joined the club. In his first year he's made it through to the semi-final series as Keenan trying to get Richardson involved. Murray drops off him. Back to Mannion. Rolling it over the Lakes 30-metre line. So Knight looking around. Cuts out Finn. Finds Porter. He goes himself, Porter. And now he offloads the ball. Shillings through the gap. Shillings has got the line in front of him. Can he get it down? He's held up. But what a run by Shillings, the veteran lock.
Good run by Shillings, but great play there from Western Suburbs. That was what we've been looking for during this game. There's no dummy half at the moment. That's what they're looking for now. But that was combinations up the middle of the field.
Knight. Mannion throws it straight to Charles.
Well, Peter, that's a record. That is the first time in rugby, surely the first time in rugby league history that there have been 3 intercepts in a row in 3 consecutive sets. That's extraordinary. Or at least 3 clean turnovers where the other side ends up with it.
What's happening downstairs, Tom?
Mate, Chrissy Adams is back in the game. He's just replaced, looks to be Jack Kelly.
I didn't even notice.
Jack Kelly.
Must have been.
Yeah, Jack Kelly's in 14.
It's their 4th interchange for the day. So Chris Adams is back, hopefully, to make an impact.
I didn't even know he was out there. He'd come off, Chris Adams. He mustn't have been off long.
Just stealth mode when he came off.
Just a short break.
So Sullivan. Porter in there with Herman. There he is there, Chris Adams. Hasn't scored a try for Lakes this season. Chris Adams played 11. This will be his 12th game, I believe, for the club. If the stats are correct on the official website, which you hope they are, if it's official, Morgan. As we see now, a rate bus inside the 40. Oh, what a lovely tackle by Matt Craig. Had to be made and very effective. Now to tie. Opportunity through the middle here.
West are rolling here, aren't they? This is probably the most dominant either side's been in this game so far. Big chance for them here to kick out to a lead.
So Knight giving it away. Brown finding Richardson. Burgess assisting. Sean Boss. So back to Knight. Away to Mannion. And Richardson's been absolutely sandwiched by Adams. Now to Porter. He's going to kick high. Looking for his winger out there in Ale. But Porter comes back and takes the shot. Let's go touchline, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, mate, I think Chris Adams has got the a copy of the West playbook because he's reading them like a book. We've got a change decision here. Lakes are getting to play the ball 10 metres out. So must have ruled that there was a West knock on.
Sullivan playing it back now to Adams. So Lakes, they'll take that as Sean Boss sends it back now. Adams giving it away to Ikanofo. running with a bit of aggression. Finding Adams. Now to Chance Burgess. Finn finishes him off along with Peter Mannion. Now to Adams, surveying his options. Finds Sean Boss. He takes it to the halfway line. Just 2 metres in front of him is that halfway line. They're about to cross it now. Murray goes short, but the gap closes thanks to Joel Brown. Back to D-Sacks. Did well there, Murray. Puts it on the boot for Charles. That was the intention. But Richardson is back there now. He's been pushed in the touch thanks to Varka.
The penalty, Pete?
Penalty to Wests. Sufficient penalty.
Yeah, mate, Richardson's on the ground, so once he is touched, the tackle is officially complete. So if he's on the ground, you can't touch him and then drag him over the sideline. It just doesn't work like that.
I always think that's very unlucky. You know, it's a very technical rule, and in the heat of the game, there's got to be that temptation every time to pick them up and haul them into touch. It's probably something worth looking at.
It's also that technical rule, Morgan, that's sort of been phased out as the voluntary tackle.
Well, that's right. I mean, you could get rid of all this rubbish straight away. If they started penalising voluntary tackles again, I mean, it's still in the rules, isn't it?
That's right, exactly right, yeah.
I mean, it happens 50 times a game. If they started enforcing that rule, you wouldn't see this garbage of blokes picking the ball up on their own line, falling on the ground in a heap, and waiting for someone to put a pinky on
them. And then they get rewarded from it
as
well.
That's exactly right. It's an appalling rule.
I'm in total agreement. I did not write that thing.
No.
So now we find Richardson playing it back to Knight. They're going to go high to the air. Where's this ball gone? Gone straight down to Matt Craig. The 23-year-old has done well under a high ball swirling around. But takes it nicely into his bread basket as Marcel Ikanofo.
Would it be fair to say, Peter, that this game's lacking a little bit of polish?
I'd say it would be a fair comment.
That'd be fair enough.
Do you think that's fair, Tom?
Oh, just blame it on the wind, Pete. That's what everyone's going to do after this game.
As Matt Craig hits the blind side.
Well, West have had a great 10 minutes here of field position. They made a lot of ground through the forwards, and they haven't any points to show for it, and I suspect that might hurt them later in the game.
Golden point, of course, in the Newcastle Rugby League semi-final series as well. As Murray, lovely pass onto the chest, now finding Goulmere. He's got Varka. He may not need Varka. He goes himself, picked up now by Western Suburbs, and they turn defence into attack. And now they're squatting off Lakes United like flies. And Adams is back there and rings him into the ground. Let's go touchline, Tom Taylor.
That certainly brought the crowd back into this game. Everyone just got to their feet then as soon as, I think it was Tim Holman. Was it Tim Holman or Richardson got that intercept?
Holman.
Well, we need something like that to spark a little bit of intensity out there, Morgan.
Well, it was a lovely set play out the back, actually, from Lakes. It's the nicest bit of work they'd put on. Jamie Goulmere turning up on the wing in the end, wrapping around to get the ball. And in the end, he was better off to just hang on to it. The ball came spewing out, and it was on up the other end of the field.
Mannion to the 40. Now to Knight. Finding Bradley Tye. 28.7 tries for Brad Tye. First year at Western Suburbs. Came down from the Titans. Starting his working career with topbetter.com.au as we see Jade Porter. He's looking around. He's got support. Shillings is under the post. Yes. Warren Shillings, the veteran lock, has scored under the post. He was in doubt until last night, but in doubt no longer after that try under the black dot.
Well, a splendid bit of play there from Jade Porter. Absolutely carving them up out wide. He's threatened to do that a couple of times, but on that occasion he found fresh air when he ran through that gap. There didn't appear to be too much on. It was a fairly simple block play with the man up in the line, and as we have a look here on the replay, the ball came out the back and Porter really just had to change pace. The Lakes defenders were all looking at each other, and he was able to just stroll through and then hit Shillings from about 10 yards out to wander over and finish it off. And it's a good bit of play from Porter, but it's an absolutely serious lapse in the back line and on the edge from the Lakes defenders.
So 14 points to 6 on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. As Joel Brown has the attempt from right in front, kicking to the northern end. He adds the extras. So Western Suburbs bubbling along quite nicely. They're up by 10 at 16-10. Touchline, Tom Taylor.
Tell you what, when Jade Porter got that ball, his eyes just lit up. You could have driven a jumbo jet through that gap. Warren Schilling's good enough to be backing up on the inside like a fullback, in fact.
So 16 points to 6 here on Saturday afternoon finals football. The winner progresses through to week 3. The loser bows out of the competition.
Is it possible Lakes are getting the heebie-jeebies because they know they've got to go to Curry next week? if they win, which is not a comment on Curry, it's just the fact that they played there twice this year. They had a draw and very nearly were beaten the first time. And hang on, they lost both times, didn't they? The 2 games they had at Curry, they lost both of them. So they might not be too bothered.
You know, it also starts with K. Kryptonite.
I suppose it does.
Kryptonite.
Look out, there they go again.
That Curry Sports Ground is there.
Ty's in pursuit. He needs to get the ball. Oh, he should have thrown it. It's great in hindsight. But maybe if it had it over again, Ty would have been under the post.
Still onto the right.
Porter giving it away now to Brown. Williams. Can he offload? He can. Richardson's with the football. Richardson flicks it. Here's a chance. They get down low. Holman. 4 metres out from the line. Williams waits in a dummy half. He fires the ball left. Finds Brown. He comes wider. There's a chance out here. There's Porter. Can he offload? No, he can't. He's about to blow his whistle. Taylor, back to the Lakeside we go.
Well, Joel Porter there, I suppose, after the last one, he might have fancied himself to go through there, having just done it a moment ago. But that time, the Lakes defender's a bit more switched on and able to knock him over. We've seen Lakes chase points a lot of times over the last 2 seasons. We've seen them come from these sort of deficits in the last quarter of the game. But this is a very, very difficult one indeed because Wests have had most of the running in the second half. And I've got to tell you, Lakes haven't shown too much. Their attack's been fairly average and their forwards are getting steamrolled at the moment.
And that's Casey Burgess.
The thing we know about them, though, is they won't panic. They're very good at just continuing to play their own way and waiting for the points to come. But at the moment, it's not looking too likely. But there's a good chance out wide.
Varka's with it. Varka will kick. Going back there, hopefully to clean up is Williams, but no, Varka got it back and now he's bundled into touch.
Well, that's very unlike Lakes, I must say. 25 minutes to go in the game, going the chip and chase from the wing. It's not the sort of thing I've seen from them much over the last couple of years, I must say. But having said that, it very nearly came off.
So we'd like to thank our broadcast partners in 2016, topbetter.com.au, for their involvement in rugby league here in Newcastle. Benedict Waste Recycling and Cornelius Crump, the most exotic drink in Newcastle. The most exotic new drink, I should say, in Newcastle. So next time you're in the supermarket, why not buy a Cornelius Crump, just like you did throughout the week, Tom?
Yeah, mate, it was delicious. I'm just getting a message from the literature police, and apparently my grammar is a bit off, so apologies to all people out there who I'm offending with my grammar.
What did you say?
I said drove in a jumbo jet. Apparently I was supposed to say driven.
The school teachers.
So many people I've offended after that one.
It's good to know that there's someone out there listening.
Yeah, exactly. And always there to provide assistance.
If someone's listening, that's a win.
Well, we've got to have a lot of people listening if they're picking up on that.
Well, that's Warren Schilling's there.
They got away with one there, West. That was a stone cold forward pass right in front of the linesman.
Got up
and now
there.
there's a bit of afters from Schillings.
Here's Knight kicking off the right boot. He's about to hit Varka, and Varka is about to hit anybody within cooee of him, and that's Knight and Mannion. So 17 minutes out from our commencement at half time. 23 left on the clock. The winner goes through to week 3 of the finals up at Curry Curry. I guess mad Saturday night will kick in for one of these clubs after full time. So Adams, he doesn't want it to be him, I know that. Or this man, nor this man in Kelly, or Sullivan. Harton, they want to get through to week 3 of the finals. Adams.
Oh, Adams was looking for someone back on the inside there and nobody turned up.
I think he's in trouble here, Adams.
Yeah,
his ankle has been rolled. It's his right ankle. And I'll tell you what, he is in agony.
He's trying to get up.
Chris Adams in his third game back from the Knights. Tom, what can you see on the touchline?
Yeah, you're right, Pete. I think it's his ankle or it might be a knee, but I tell you what, Chris Adams does not stay down, ever. So it has to be very, very painful for him to stay down.
Well, it looks like he's going to carry on.
Well, that's a trooper, if you've ever seen one.
They need something here, though, Lakes.
The pitches, they were fairly ordinary. And that's what obviously we were all going by as Murray now. He doesn't want to put an ordinary kick. He needs an air raid that's going to come off. But Mannion, it comes off for him and the Rosellas. Williams now, Morgan, up towards the 10-metre line.
I don't think I've ever seen a kick towards so many players be able to find the turf from both sides. Nobody wanted to catch it. There were about half a dozen of them in about a 5-metre radius, and none of them got near it.
So that's Matthew Herman. Ball's on the ground. Now,
big decision, and he said knock on. So this is a chance for Lakes.
Oh, you can hear the crowd in the background. The crowd have travelled over from Lakes, and Tom, they're about to get the ball, about 10 metres out from the Western Suburbs line here.
Yeah, there's a couple of hundred people to my right that disagree with that call, but hey, you win some and you lose some.
Well, this is their chance.
We're just about to go to the quarter mark here, and historically, at least for the last season or two, it's been where Lakes have done their best work in finals games.
Whilst there's life, there's Hope Sullivan. Runs straight into Farah. That's Adams. You can hear the crowd saying get off him as Adams now slips over again. Well, that'll test the ankle for the second time. Plays it back. Sullivan, it's still on.
He's very slow up there, Adams. He's getting across there to get into dummy half, but he's not 100% fit.
Murray, they're up quickly. Williams, he led the charge. And Holman. So Charles, scooting from dummy half, trying to do a Luke Prittis. Lost the ball? No, in his possession. He bubbled it, but got it back. So Adams, away to Murray. Now to Burgess. Warren Shillings cleans him up, along with Farah. Now to Adams. Sullivan. Goulmere. Here's a chance. Oh, it's been bubbled. Great work by the Rosellas here, Tom. Touchline down to you.
I hope they don't call this a West knock-on.
What do you think he's going to do here, your father?
Well, he's called a West knock-on here. Jermaine Ale did stick a hand out to play at that ball, but from down on the sideline, it looked like he regathered before it hit anything apart from himself.
Oh, he's unlucky there. I'm inclined to agree with you there, Tom. I think he's terribly unlucky, Jermaine Ale. As you say, he came up attempting the intercept, certainly did knock it forward, but he looked to have caught it and was on his way upfield. There's just a little bit of angst getting into the game too. A few hands being thrown and things like that. Nothing too serious as yet. But with a quarter of an hour to go, there's plenty of time.
Murray. Goulmere. Spins away from Brown. Brown comes back along with Mannion. Now to Josh Charles. Murray. Away to D-Sacks. Cleaned up there, of course, by Jacob Ling. Playing his third first-grade game for Western Suburbs today. Back to Burgess! Cleaned up by Shillings. Adams. Murray. Great tackle. Great scrambling defence coming, of course, by the Rosellas here. It's not all over yet as Adams goes short. Now to Casey Burgess. Shillings wraps him up. Desperation here on the line for Western Suburbs as Adams kicks, but for who? Who does he kick for? I'll tell you who he's kicked for. Brad Murray. Brad Murray has scored a try off the boot of Chris Adams.
Well, there you go. Clever player out of dummy half. They had they didn't look like breaking them there. That was tremendous defence from West on their own line, and then the little sneaky kick out of dummy half. Nothing really on. There was nothing really going on to the left or to the right of the ruck, and Adams just stuck it on the toe and thought, we'll see what happens here. It looked a good price for a line drop out at the very least. As we see here on the replay, he jumps in. They're all looking at him. It was a slow play, the ball, that probably helped. And then he just tickles it into the in-goal, and Murray, with a burst of pace I suspect he didn't even know he had, gets to the ball first, and suddenly it's 16-10. It's about to be 16-12, and that Lakes grandstand finish that we've seen in semi-final games for 2 seasons in a row could be getting lined up again.
What we've seen there, a class act from the most experienced two on the paddock as far as National Rugby League goes. They've both dabbled at the highest of levels. And now they've dabbled in the minor semi-final, and hopefully this kick will go over and we've got another ball game. We do. Western Suburbs, they're still leading by 16 points to 12. Let's go touchline. What a ripper of an 18 minutes we've got coming up here, Tom.
Oh, yeah, mate, the crowd are getting into it now. I tell you what, we thought Chris Adams was busted. He was just getting a bit of treatment on his knee. It was not his ankle, it was his right knee. It's heavily bandaged now, but the trainer came on the field and then came off with a message from Chris Adams saying, "Go away, I'm good." So he will stay out there for the remainder of this game.
So 16 points to 12, finals football. Nothing in it, only a try. As we see now, Lakes. Our pitches have just gone a bit out of focus here as we see now back into the high definition we come, crystal clear. As Morgan Campbell's in the box with me. Great to have him here as we see Tommy Taylor down on the touchline. But it's 16 points to 12 here on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. Here's the kick. Is that a 40-20? Richardson thought it was. That's why he had to play at it. And that's why he's come down with it and he's been put down by Varka.
Well, I don't know if Steve Story's got much hair left, but he won't have much after that. That was very awkward indeed. The kick went down. It looked nailed on for the 40-20. Richardson did tremendously well in the end, but if he'd have batted that back inside any harder, it would have been a dead set try for Lakes because they were strolling through. And isn't it funny how a game can change? I mean, West had the best of this second half until that try, and now all of a sudden Lakes are up quickly. They're swarming them in defence, and their forwards are marching. The grandstand finishes on here.
Loser bows out. We're going to go through. We'll take on the loser of tomorrow's clash between Macquarie and South as they hoof it downfield. There's Varka.
Look at the field position, Peter. Varka, by the time he's taken down here, is 5 metres short of halfway with Lakes starting a set. They could really set up camp here in this last 15 minutes if West don't get a few big forwards turning things around.
So that's Josh Charles. 7 tries this season, 15 games for the Yellow and Blues. As Ryan Petro combines.
Callan Richardson has not come back onto the field after that bat inside. He's still down, sitting down on over the sideline, and Sam Keenan's had to go back to fullback. So that's a big loss for West if he's unable to keep going.
So Hoggets picked up the first try in the 5th minute of the match. Tremendous run by Hoggets. Adams. Dangerous. Offloads it. They're going to score. They're under the post. Lakes United have scored under the post. James D. Sachs. 16 all. The kick to take them to the front for the first time in the second half.
Well, they didn't look likely, Peter. I mean, the last 20 minutes they've been spinning their wheels. They couldn't get out of their own way. And then all of a sudden, a bit of a lift from the forwards, an opportunity down West End. They get one. And then from there, it's been all Lakes. They've got the big set off their own line, then a big set of defence. Pick the ball up 5 short of the halfway, and as we see here, this is just a product of momentum. They had the West defenders either going backwards or standing still, and Adams was quick out of dummy half, hits to Sachs running the good line. They're under the posts, they're all square, they're about to be in front, and they've got 14 minutes in hand.
Oh, the crowd are coming into it. We love the atmosphere here. Let's go touchline. Here's the kick from Murray, about to be plotted over, one would think, Tom.
Yeah, I think you'll get this one. He's a pretty good kicker, Brad Murray. I'll tell you what, we've been talking about how good West's defence has been, but unfortunately, we can only be so good for so long, and Lakes kept chipping away there, and they finally got the result, just getting through a large hole and scoring straight under the sticks.
Well, it was just momentum, wasn't it? The big bashes from the forwards just got them going backwards, and West couldn't get up off their line.
So Murray, time off here in the howling breeze. It's been swirling around all afternoon, Tom.
Yeah, I think Mother Nature's with West here because the breeze has just picked up. I think it's doubled. It's gone from, I think it's up near the 100k an hour mark.
100k an hour?
Here's the kick. He's got it.
Give or take 50k's.
If it was 100k an hour, there'd be people flying sideways over the crowd.
I'd be one of them, Morgan.
Yeah, me too.
Well, 18-16. Lakes are back in front. Lakes are back in front. 14 nerve-wrenching minutes remaining here in finals football. And Western Suburbs, they need a kicking tee to get us back underway. The loser is out of the competition. 2 points separating both of these sides. As Sam Keenan drives it deep and hangs it high in the air. And Chris Adams is there to collect it. Now to Murray. They hit the 40-metre line with pace.
It's not a surprise, is it, Peter, that Chris Adams has set up the 2 tries that have got Lakes from 6 behind to 2 in front. He's nearly knocked that on.
He has knocked it on.
There you go. He's given West a chance here. It was his class that gave Lakes the lead, and it's his little mistake there that's going to give West a chance to snap back at them.
What's the tension like down on the touchline, Tom?
Oh, the pulse rate's very high down here on the benches. Both teams are very nervous, especially Lakes now with West getting good field position at a scrum feed. Maybe a little bit of the commentator's curse coming out again.
Happy to help, West fans. You can thank me later.
So Newcastle Rugby League in its best. Hard, tough. As Knight looking around, there's Porter, cleaned up sideways. One of them in there was Adams. Back to Keenan. He now finds Herman. 5 metres in from that Western touchline. Brad Tye awaits in a dummy half. A West junior finding Porter. He gives it back to David Dryden. In his 9th first-grade game, David Dryden spent the majority of the year in reserve grade. Back to now to Porter. Porter will go over. Porter's got the ball down. And Porter, he puts them back in front. Oh, Jade Porter. 15 matches, 17 goals, and now he's added 6 tries to that equation.
Well, there you go, Jade Porter. It was exactly the same story that we just saw up the other end of the field. That time it was the West forwards. They really rolled in hard. They belted Lakes up the centre there, and when the ball went out to Porter, as we have a look on the replay here, you'll notice that the Lakes defenders just could not get off their line. Porter was running at them. They were standing still, and it was just the sheer momentum of Jade Porter there that put him over the line. And all of a sudden, 20 points to 18, West back in front, and plenty of time left in the game. There's still 10 minutes to go here.
Jade Porter, the under-6s coach throughout the week at the Cardiff Cougars, leading from the front. And has put them into the front by 20 to 18. So Sam Keenan looking for 30 individual goals this season. That's the equation. Has he got it?
Yep.
He has got it.
Hello.
No, one flag up, one flag down. There's chaos. Absolute chaos here on finals day. Tom, what's the situation now with one flag up and one flag down?
I have not seen that since a prelim final in 2013. So the basic way to explain this is each official gets a vote. A touch judge gets a vote and a referee gets a vote. If both touch judges vote the same, then the referee does not get a vote. But in this case...
Well, when do they vote?
Well, when they put their flags up or wave it away. So one touch judge said up, one touch judge said down. The deciding vote went to John Taylor and he agreed with Brendan Callender.
Said no goal. So the sum total is it's no goal.
Which usually happens because Brendan Callender was on the side that the ball went.
Well, I don't know if we can have a replay of that goal, but we'd love to see if it went between the sticks. But anyway, it's on the scoreboard, 20 to 12.
I'd hate to think that Lakes would get a late penalty or something to square it up at 20 all.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be a few people watching the replay through the week. That's very dramatic. You don't see that very often at all. That's a once-a-season thing.
If it was going to happen, Morgan, it's got to be a day like this when it's blowing a gale.
Well, also when there's two sides playing in a knockout game as well. It's
the pressure's on. Pressure's on everywhere.
Okay.
Jake Finn back on the field for West.
Everybody's lifting on the field and off the field. 20 to 18. Western Suburbs able to fight their way back into the match and take the lead. That's Ryan Petro. Now to Chris Knight. Can they knocked them out of the final series here, Western Suburbs. Would another try allow that? Here's the kick downfield. Goulmere. He's come down with it. What a catch by the young man at the back.
Yeah, there's an appeal here for something. I think they're going to suggest that he's lost the ball, but I think Jamie Goulmere is in some discomfort, so it's going to be a stoppage anyway. It was a tremendous take there from Jamie Goulmere under an awful lot of pressure as the ball was hoisted up. It would have been swinging everywhere. He was facing chasers coming very hard at him, but he was able to take it. But they're going to say knock on, and it's going to be a Lakes scrum. So a knock on from Wests as the ball went up to the air.
What's happening touchline, Tommy?
Mate, when Jade Porter came in, he's ruled that there's a one-on-one strip. So we've had a few of these one-on-one strips today that have been knock-ons. So I think the only other option there was going to be Jamie Goulmere gets up and play the ball. So there's not really much of a difference. Lakes still have the ball.
As Charles now being cleaned up there by Mannion and Jake Finn. So Adams looking around.
Now, big decision.
And that will help them. This will help them. Penalty off the whistle of John Taylor, and Murray doesn't waste any time at all and bangs the ball into touch.
Now, interesting to see what happens here. If Lakes are going to push for the win here, Western Suburbs have got a reserve fullback in here. They've got Keenan at the back. He wouldn't have trained there through the week. He hasn't played there much throughout this season with Richardson off the field. So if there's a grubber into the in goal, they might just be able to catch Keenan out of position.
Well, on top of that too, Morgan, you wouldn't want to give a penalty away here as well, because the way Murray's been building him over, maybe he'll square it up. Let's see what can happen here.
There's pressure on everyone in these games, pressure on the referees as well as the players.
Murray now. 12 metres out from the goal line. Adams again, looking around, picks up D-Sacks, giving it away to Burgess.
Last tackle.
They need to come right. They've identified that. Kelly kicking. Lakes couldn't get to the ball.
Lakes ball, knock on by West first. So Lakes are going to get a full set here. There's 6 minutes on the clock. And it was exactly what we were just talking about, the dribble into the in goal there. And the ball very nearly got through. If it had done, it was try time. Big chance here for Lakes.
Let's go downstairs, Tom Taylor.
The crowd don't like it, but unfortunately it's the way it goes. Sam Keane has stuck his left arm out there and the ball just hit it. So referees and touch judges in good position there, so I'm definitely not going to argue with them.
Everybody to the left of the ruck here. We might be getting a set play. Everybody for Lakes on the left of the ruck. You got Murray, you got Ikanotho, you got Goulmere, Craig, Charles and Varka.
So we've got 6 minutes remaining. Our clock's just a bit out. So 6 minutes remaining as we see Murray takes the tackle there. Now there's Adams in a dummy half again. He can go right and find Burgess. He cuts out Burgess, finds Kelly, and Kelly takes the shot there of Ryan Petro. So 6 minutes to go here in the minor semi-final. Loser flies out of the country immediately. As Adams now looking around, the ball's out the back. Here's Kelly again, and he's taken the shot there at Petro. 2 metres out from the goal line. Adams again. He goes himself. He goes short. He finds D-Sacks.
Fairly ordinary set that from Lakes. The kick's very important. Let's have a look where Keenan is.
Last tackle here, Morgan. Here's Kelly. Porter's wrestled him to the ground. Turnover back to the home side, Western Suburbs. Let's go down to Tommy Taylor on the touchline.
Oh, you can probably hear him, mate. The crowd are going ballistic over that. Just solid defence there from West. Lakes never looked like cracking it.
What a game of Newcastle Rugby League here, Tom.
Especially this is a great game.
Here we go. We're into the slugfest.
It's had everything.
Have a look at these Lakes defenders off their line, up and belting them. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at this for this last 5 minutes. They've got absolutely no choice.
And that is Knight again in his headgear. Now to Whale. 16th game this season for Western Suburbs. Knight. Now to Finn.
Oh, that's high.
Yeah, that's high tackle here.
Well, he rebounded off another Lakes player. Then they went high.
That looked pretty bad from here, Pete.
Okay, well, let's have a look at that on the replay coming up shortly, thanks to Benedict Waste Recycling and topbetter.com.au.
Well, he's just sitting up now, Jake Finn. He looks like he's going to be okay, but we'll have a look on this replay. He came bouncing off, and then the big arm came across from the number 11, Dylan Harton, and whacked him right across the neck. So it's a nasty one. Finn will get up, I suspect, and continue. But West here can drain a bit of time off the clock. There's 4 minutes to go. They can bang this into touch, get themselves through a set, maybe roll it into the in goal. There won't be much time left for Lakes to get them.
As we see 4 minutes on the clock at the ground to go.
3.5, in fact, Peter.
3.5 minutes. Not long on the clock to go. As we see now, Knight. Let's go touchline, Tommy. What have you got for us down on the touchline?
Mate, we've just had Brad Ty. He's just come off the field limping. This is their last interchange, so West have got no more interchange to lose. If they have another injury, then they play with 12.
So Porter. Quick play the ball. Knight scooting from dummy half. Runs straight into Adams. And Hoggett. Now to Finn. Sending it back to the right-hand side. Are they lining up? Mannion gives it back to Brown. Away to Petro. Can he offload? Back to Porter. He's in again. Oh, he loves it.
Well, Jade Porter, you can pencil him in man of the match. I know they awarded the player of the season through the week, so he won't get the 3 points, but he gets man of the match today because he's changed this game. First with that run out on the fringe where he carved them up and got it away to Shillings. Then he threw the dummy from close to the line and went over, and now he's crossed again. He's scored 2 and set up 1 in the last passages of this game. They're through. It's all over now, you'd have to think, unless this kick goes wide. 24-18 with a kick to come. If the kick goes over, West are through, and Lakes, the defending premiers, well, their defence will be over.
And this is it on the replay, just supporting the ball carrier, left, right and centre. Petro finding the half-back in Jade Porter, and then he gets his second try and finishes it off.
I'd love to get a name for that dance. That was tremendous. Big pressure on Sam Keenan here. It looks an easy kick, but the conditions aren't suitable. Bit of pressure on the linesman too after that disagreement a moment ago.
So 2 minutes left. Western Suburbs entertaining the crowd. Keenan, first year at the club, first year in a semi-final series of the Newcastle Rugby League, and he makes a difficult kick. Looks so simple. Touch judges raise the flags. It's on the Benedict Waste Recycling scoreboard. It's 24-18 inside 90 seconds to go, Morgan.
26-18 in fact, Peter. It's all over Red Rover. You'd have to think, unless there's something very bizarre happens, you'd think Lakes will go the short kick-off here, but there are only 60 seconds to go right now. There's the short kick-off.
He's going to kick it out on the fall.
No, it's not going to matter.
Didn't
they were
go
in front of the kicker.
Varka.
Well, I've got to tell you, when Lakes went over for that try to make it 18-16, I wasn't expecting this because they'd done it so many times. Maybe they timed their run a little bit too early and let West get back into the game. But West have shown a hell of a lot in this last 10 minutes, and they, well, you've got to say they deserve it. They've found more when it counted.
So 50 seconds remaining as Sam Keenan drives it into touch.
Field goal. Kick a field goal.
Okay.
What, did you have 9 points on the pick the margins or something?
Oh, no.
What would be the use of a field goal now?
Oh, I'm just thinking like Greg Inglis.
Sure.
So Simon Williams rolling it forward to Peter Mannion in his 10th year at Western Suburbs. And he's going to be 1 game away from a grand final spot in his 10th year. They'll take on the losers of tomorrow's contest between Macquarie and South. 2 seconds to go. Knight, last play the ball. There's the siren. It's all over. Western Suburbs have knocked Lakes United Seagulls out of the competition for 2016. The final score, West's 26, Lakes 18.
Well, a game that was an absolute cow for about 60 minutes. There wasn't much to recommend that it all came to life in the last quarter, and you'd have to say that West deserve it. Lakes came at them hard. They hit them with quick tries. They looked like they were doing the old thing where they come up with a big grandstand finish in the last 20, but in the end it was the response from West that was too good. As we see the replays of the tries, you'll see at the end here it was Jade Porter who came up with some big plays and really turned the game for them when Lakes had turned against them. They deserve it, West, you'd have to say. They've had a near-death experience today, but they're going to go up to Curry tomorrow with an extra day's rest, and well, it's going to be tough for whoever has the misfortune of playing them.
Well, this is how it all started for their comeback, their survival. That try there to Peter Mannion in the first half. As we roll the Highlights again. Look at this man. Man of the match performance by Porter. Set up this try as well. And look at that. They went under quite easily there through Joel Brown. That was leading into the break. And then the second half. Well, again, that man again. There he is. Porter, what can't he do today?
Well,
the under-6s Cougars coach.
It's probably the key moment in the game, Peter, because it was such an ordinary bit of defence from Lakes out wide. I mean, that's been the big difference this year. They've been able to be got at in those moments. Last season, they wouldn't have conceded a try like that, you know. And last season, once they got in front late in the game, they would have held on. But West, they're a terribly resilient lot. They pretty much always have been. And they came up with some big defence and then a couple of big plays. And they deserve to go through to week 3.
And then, of course, Lakes. Whilst there was life, as we said in the call, there was hope for them. And James Desaks got them back into the match with only about 15 minutes to go. And Taylor had no hesitation but to award that very quickly because he knew time was precious. And then from then, this man again, Jade Porter, ended up taking the line on. He split Chris Adams into 2 and barged his way over. And then featured in the next try as well.
It's what you want from your halfback, isn't it? I mean, it's, you know, the last moments of the game, give it to me.
And here he comes again. He was just quick hands, as I said. Petro finding Porter, got down low, swan dived over the line and ended up doing the Porter dance. He loves it. He was the star of the show.
Yep.
Without question. Jade Porter, you are our Dus Hundhaus man of the match.
Well, it sets the scene for next week, doesn't it? I mean, West now, as I said, they get an extra day off. They go up to Curry next week, and whoever it is that the sides going into that game tomorrow between Macquarie and South, they will now know that they have the ugly task of going up to Curry next week and taking on West. So that just raises the stakes again, because if you win tomorrow, you into the grand final. If you lose, you've got a very, very nasty job ahead of you next week.
Well, we came here today to Harker Oval expecting a clash of high intensity, and it delivered, Tom.
Yeah, mate, it did. The vibe's good down here for all West fans, and I don't think I've ever seen the Western Rosellas as excited as they are to go to Curry next week.
They're off to the graveyard.
They are off to the graveyard, but without the old boys.
Exactly. So stay with us. A big weekend ahead next weekend, but we've got to get over tomorrow yet. We're off to Lyle Peacock Field. Macquarie up against Souths. The winner of that match to cement the first spot in the grand final this year. Before we sign off, who's your tip for tomorrow, Morgan?
I think we're going to have to mull on that one overnight. I think you probably have to say Macquarie, but South have got some ticker this year. That'll be a real belter. And a good steak sandwich into the bargain.
Who do you like tomorrow, Tom?
Toronto.
Okay, mate. Well, there you go. That's the final score here in the minor semi-final. Western Suburbs knocking out Lakes United by that score on screen now. We'll leave you with this image of the scoreboard. Western Suburbs 26. Well, there you go, Lakes fans. Lakes United 18.
Yeah,